Everybody, it's Lyn from Lyn's Crafts, and welcome to another episode of Mixed Media Monday. This time I'm going to be working on some plastic eggs. These are just, I think it was 88 cents for a package of 6 of them. They are a little larger than the traditional size Easter eggs. I've got those. I've got my squashed roll of aluminum tape. This is aluminum duct tape, the kind that they use for your air conditioning and heating system to tape the ductwork together. And I've got 3 embossing folders, which for me is lucky because that's all I have. It's just not one of the things I ever remembered to buy. I don't know why. So I'm going to roll out 9 sheets of the foil tape and run them through the embossing folders on my big shot. You'll need 3 for each egg to cover them completely. So I'm going to do that and then I'll be back. Alright, here they all are. And I thought I would just tell you the names of these Cuttlebug folders. I'll put the link in the description box below. This one is Divine Swirls, and it's a Cuttlebug folder, as you can see. This one is called Leafy Branch, I believe. And it is also a Cuttlebug folder. This one is a Doris folder, and it's Steampunk Gears. Alright, I'm just going to cut these into pieces. Something like that. And apply them to each egg. Each one in a different folder. Alright, I'll do that and then I'll be back. I just want to share a tip with you. When you start these, start around the seam. That will help hold the egg closed while you cover the rest. And because my tape is squished and a bit ratty, I'm trying to put the nicer edge underneath, over a rattier edge. This edge is a little rattier, this edge is a little cleaner, so I've put this edge over the top of the ratty edge on the piece before, if that makes sense. It really doesn't matter if your tape is marred, and even if it's wrinkled, it doesn't matter. That just adds to the texture. Another tip, once you've gone around the middle, put your next piece, one on the bottom and one on the top. Then you can just fill around the edges and you're done. As you're covering, you'll come along to, at the end of a row, you'll have spaces like this. Leave those till the last. You'll have approximately half a strip left, and you can cut just small pieces to fit in there. Alright? Alright. Now you just want to minimally overlap your pieces. Don't overlap them too far, or of course you'll use more foil tape. If you can't get the backing off, just fold a corner of the piece back towards the foil and the paper backing will just pop away. Alright. Then I use my the back of my fingernail to just smooth the edges down some. You don't want to get rid of the texture from the foil sheet, but just to smooth the edge down. Alright, I'll finish covering these last pieces and then I'll be back. And you don't have to worry about trying to cover over the tab where the egg hinges. After we're done with the painting and everything, it won't show. Alright. Okay, once you have all the eggs covered, the next step is I've got some IOD molds and I've cast some resin pieces, and while they were still curing, I curved them around the eggs. You can also do this with a heat gun if they're already fully cured. Just warm them up and then curve them around the shape, and then tape them down till they cool off. Alright, but I'm just going to show you real quick how I need one more piece. So, I'm going to do this little cherub right here. So I've just got my graduated measuring cup. And I almost always pour more than I need, just to be sure that you can fill the mold. Alright, so I'm just pouring 2 drams of each part A and part B of the amazing casting resin. And I'm going to stir. And you'll notice it right away goes cloudy. You want to keep stirring until it turns back to clear. Usually it doesn't take but just a second or two. Scraping down the sides. You want to make sure you thoroughly stirred it, but you don't want to over stir it because it starts to set pretty quickly. Once you feel the cup turning warm against your fingers, it's time to pour it. So I'm going to pour this one first. Now turn the popsicle stick perpendicular under the edge of the cup. That helps you have a finer pouring stream. Alright, looks like I've got enough for one more. Well, part of one more anyway. Alright, I think I can pull the cherub out now. Alright, you can see how flexible he is. Alright, so I'm just going to tape him down. I'm not worried too much about the extra on there. I'll get that off afterwards. I've just got some blue painter's tape. Alright. Okay, something like that. Now just let this sit for 20 or 30 minutes and it will be formed to the egg. Alright, so I'll be back after that. Okay, now I've just got some modeling paste. You can use light paste. You can use some gel medium. We're just going to glue the pieces to the egg. But what I want I want the modeling paste I want it to squeeze out around the piece. Alright, something like this. And I'm just gonna feather it out a bit. You can also use some some gel medium to glue it down, and then use some texture paste for this step as well. It's really just to add some additional texture. Alright, something like that. I'm just going to continue on and do the other pieces, and I'll be back when they're dry and ready. I hope. Alright. Alright, now I'm just going to cover them with a couple of coats of white gesso. And again, I'm going to use a pouncing motion because it helps the gesso to stick to the foil and gives you a better coverage with fewer coats. I will probably do 2 coats anyway, just to make sure they've got a nice thick coverage. Alright, do the embellishments as well, even though they're already white. You want the whole surface to take any mediums, any paint or anything else you put on the same way. Alright, so I'm going to continue to do this, and I'll be back when they're done. Okay, now I've got some Silk's Acrylics glaze. Silk's acrylic glaze, and this one is the Royal Orchid. Probably should shake it first. And I'm just gonna put a little out on my plate, and then I've got one in Ginger Flower, which is a really pretty pink color if you like pink. Alright. Let me see about it. Alright, I'm going to start with the, what did I say it was? The Royal Orchid. And I'm just going to go around the embellishments a bit. sorry if I was out of frame there a second. Alright, you can tell I'm kind of going pretty thick with the paint. Because now what I'm going to do is grab my little squirt bottle of water and I'm trying to get it to run, but my squirt bottle is running out. Alright, there it goes. Alright, let me go fill my water bottle up and I'll be right back. Alright, that's better. I actually added some water to my paper plate as well. Now let's try it again. Alright, now I'm starting to get some drips and runs. Change my finger positioning a bit. That helps. There we go. Now we're getting some of the colors to run together. Alright, I'm gonna dry this with my heat tool. I'll be back when it's dry. Alright, now I'm just going to go back with the Royal Orchid. I'm just going to continue adding layers until I'm happy with the results. Alright, adding and spraying and adding and spraying. Alright, now I'm going to go back in with a little dry brush of gesso. My brush really isn't very dry, so it will take several dry brushing attempts to get it where I want it. And I'm just going to hit the elements. Alright, so I'm going to let that dry and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I've gone over it with about 4 coats of gesso just on the elements. And I'm going to leave it like this to dry, and I'm going to come back and do the last step after I finish the other eggs. I'm going to do these other eggs in different colors. On this one I'm going to do some spring green kind of colors. And I'll be back to show you what colors I'm going to use. On this one, I'm thinking about maybe some gold. I'm not sure on this one yet. Give me a minute to think. Alright, on this one with the other little cherub that mirrors this one, I'm going to do this Midori green, Midori melon. Sorry about that. And Pretty Peridot. Those are both really pretty colors. Alright. So I'm going to put some color on these and then I'll be back. Okay, here's the one I did with the greens. Alright. It probably took 6 coats of the gesso on this green. And it still isn't very white, but it's white enough. Alright. So I'll be back to do the finishing touches after I do this one. On this one I'm going to do this Caribbean Mist. Really pretty color. And this one is Mandarin Blue. Meridian Blue. Sorry about that. Alright. And this one is on the Divine Swirls. I believe it is. This one was on the Steampunk Gears. Alright. Alright, I'm just continuing to dry brush the gesso on. I don't want to fill in any of the details, so that's why I'm dry brushing it. And again, this has been about 5 coats so far. Alright, and I may call that good. Depends on how it dries. Once you dry it, the blue underneath will come through a bit more. Alright, y'all can probably guess the routine by now. I'm going to use some Deco Art Metallic Luster in the Silver Spark. Just on the elements. Yes, buddy. And I'm going to hit these from all directions. That way it really highlights the raised bits. Alright, and I'll go back in a minute and fill in the keyhole area because I want that to be black, or at least dark. Alright. Alright, here they are. Finished. I'm going to make a little nest out of a brown paper sack. And I will show you some stills when it's done. Alright, this is just a paper sack that I rolled down till I got it down to a nest size. And this is some primary elements in the nutmeg that I mixed with a little bit of the glazing medium and some water. Alright, and I'm just going to give this a spray. Alright, now I'm going to let that dry just a few minutes and then I'll put it together and be back. Alright, here it is, and again I'll share some still pictures at the end so you can see it a little better. Alright, you can really see how the Color Art Silks Acrylics really brings such a nice sparkle and shine. Alright. Okay. There they are. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Again, all my links are down below in the description box. Bye for now.